All summer, the price of oil has been low, not gas though. So why is the price of gas so high? Since January, on average, up 30 cents. We've reached Roger McKnight for answers. He's the Chief Petroleum Analyst at Enpro International. He's in Burlington. Hello, Mr. McKnight.
Hello, sir.
So what's behind the spike in prices this time?
Well, prices nationally have gone up since January about 27 cents, and Hamilton, Burlington is about at 26.5, so there's no surprise there. When I do the real numbers and I compare the pump price changed in July of last year to this year, prices are only down 10%. When I compare the crude prices are down 52%. So something's gone off the rails here, and I can understand why the consumer looks at the paper and sees crude falling like a stone, but his pump prices gently falling like a feather. So there's a couple of reasons for it. One is the loonie, which I have renamed the dying quail, or short form the quail, because when people see crude at $49 a barrel, that's not actually true. That's U.S. funds. That's really $64 a barrel Canadian. But what has happened here is, with crude being so low, an integrated oil company, fully integrated, is one with an upstream and a downstream. The upstream being exploration and production, that's finding the stuff and getting it out of the ground, and downstream, which is refining it and getting it to the consumer.
So you're talking about two revenue streams for the...
Correct. Now, one of the revenue streams for the integrated oil companies, such as Shell, Esso, and Suncor, is starting to get a bit rocky, running out of water. That's because Western Canada doesn't get $49 a barrel for crude. They get actually $35. At $35 a barrel for crude, that's getting awfully close to their production costs, let alone their operating costs. So that means that the fully integrated oil companies goes back to the other stream, which is why the consumer is drowning, because what they've done is they've increased their refining margins by an astounding 74% in Hamilton and Burlington to compensate. In other words, the consumer is subsidizing the low cost of crude by paying for it at higher prices at the pump.
Now, you live in Burlington. What can you tell us about price changes in the Hamilton-Burlington area specifically?
They're going down a cent tomorrow. Burlington, which I live, is going down to $1.17 a liter. That's for major companies, price leaders such as Esso, Petrocan, and Shell. There will be independent stations that will be lower, but that just sets up little price wars, because independents don't have access to a corporate credit card, so they can play around with that a bit, but they still have to buy off the majors. So prices are going down. Tomorrow, how far they will go down for the rest of the summer is debatable, because we already have an oversupply of crude globally to the tune of 2.5 million barrels a day. The Iranian sanctions coming off have the speculators saying there's another 1 million barrels a day coming onto a flooded market. And the moody Mr. Obama may actually lift the ban on the export of domestic crude, which will put even more crude on the market. This will lower the price of crude and make the economies of oil sands, shale oil, and Hibernia get even shakier.
Will this glut on the market for crude result in lower prices at some point at the pump?
You'll see prices fall, but not to the dramatic levels that you'll see the drop in crude, because of what we just talked about, in that the oil companies have to make up the difference somewhere, and they're going to make it up at the pump. The only people I never hear any complaints from, or you never get a call from, not even a whisper, are federal and provincial governments. Because the higher the prices stay, the more money they make with their GST or HST, because that is a percentage. It's not a fixed rate like provincial road tax or excise tax or any other tax. It's a percentage that's added on at the end. So the higher the price stays, the more revenue goes into the mysterious cash tills of federal and provincial governments. We never hear a word from them. My suggestion would be to put a cap on the price at which GST or HST is applied. Say, I don't know, pick a number. $1.15 a liter we'll charge HST and GST. $1.16 we won't.
Thank you very much, Mr. McKnight.
You take care now.
Roger McKnight is the Chief Petroleum Analyst at Enpro International. He joined us from Burlington.